You know, far from all the headlines and hidden deep, deep beneath the waves, a new kind of global conflict is taking shape. It's a quiet battle for control over the very foundation of our modern world, and it's being fought, literally, on the ocean floor.
So let me ask you a question. When you think about how we're all connected globally, what pops into your head? Probably satellites, right? Beaming data down from space? Well, what if I told you that's not really how it works at all? The reality is this. It's a vast network of undersea cables, the actual physical backbone of our digital lives. I mean, every email you send, every video call you make, every single financial transaction, it's all traveling through these bundles about the size of a garden hose, resting on the seabed. This is the real internet.
In this lifeline, the one we all depend on for pretty much everything, is unbelievably important. But here's the kicker, it's also shockingly fragile.
Just look at this number, $10 trillion. That is the value of financial transactions that rely on these cables every single day. So yeah, this isn't just about streaming movies. We are talking about the very heart of the global economy.
And this isn't some hypothetical threat either. It actually happens. Just this past February, a cargo ship, the Hong Tai 58, dropped its anchor off the coast of Taiwan. And for 2 days, it just dragged it across the seabed, slicing through critical cables and messing with the entire island's communications. All it took was one careless act.
In fact, things like that are way more common than you think. We see around 200 cable breaks globally every single year. Now, most of them are accidents, from fishing nets or ship anchors. But what if they're not all accidents?
And this brings us to a really crucial strategic idea: gray zone operations. These are hostile acts that are deliberately designed to look like an accident. Think about it. Taiwan reports that out of its 7 or 8 annual cable cuts, most are, and I'm quoting here, China-related. Now, Beijing says they're all just accidents, but it really shows you how this vital infrastructure has become a tool for pressure, for intimidation, without ever firing a shot.
And all of this tension? Well, it's escalating. We're now looking at a full-blown undersea Cold War, with the United States and China as the main rivals.
Just look at this breakdown. It perfectly shows the two competing visions for the internet's future. On one side, you've got the US-backed project CMeWe 6, built by an American company. On the other side, China's Peace Cable, built by a firm that used to be owned by Huawei. They take completely different routes, they're owned by different groups, and they're backed by totally different geopolitical strategies. The US uses diplomatic pressure, while China comes in offering nations a massive 20 to 30% discount. It's a total clash of ideologies.
So you have to understand, these aren't just cables. They're basically digital Silk Roads. Each route that gets laid down represents a sphere of influence, connecting allies and, just as importantly, bypassing rivals. The geopolitical battle lines of the 21st century are literally being drawn on the seabed.
But hold on, because this isn't just a story about nations anymore. A whole new class of superpower has jumped into the game: big tech.
I mean, this chart says it all. It shows a truly dramatic power shift. Just a decade ago, companies like Meta, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon controlled less than 10% of all the subsea cable capacity in the world. Today, that number is over 70%. They've gone from just being users of the internet to being its primary owners and builders.
Yeah, they're essentially cutting out the middleman. They're building their own private, globe-spanning networks because they want more speed, more security, and of course, more control over how their data flows. Take Meta's Project Waterworth. That thing is going to stretch 50,000 kilometers, making it the longest undersea cable in the world.
So what's behind this sudden, massive investment? I mean, why is this race heating up so dramatically? Well, the answer is probably one of the biggest buzzwords on the planet right now: artificial intelligence.
The AI boom is set to make investment in these cable systems just explode. We're looking at a jump from under $1 billion in 2023 to over $15 billion by 2028. And why? Because AI tools like ChatGPT are completely, utterly dependent on this infrastructure. AI has an insatiable appetite for data, and that is fueling an absolute gold rush for bandwidth.
And this quote gives us a fascinating peek inside the minds of the people actually building this future. For them, the biggest threat isn't some spy submarine secretly cutting a cable. Nope, it's simply running out of room. Their biggest fear isn't sabotage, it's a capacity shortage, just not having enough bandwidth to power the AI revolution.
So what happens when you have governments, tech giants, and the incredible demands of AI all competing in this same deep-sea space? Well, the future of a single, unified, global internet is suddenly in real doubt.
A whole new kind of arms race is already starting. We're seeing NATO use AI-powered drones just for surveillance. China is building this massive underwater sensor network they're calling the Underwater Great Wall. And you've even got these incredible little submersible robots being developed that can 3D print repairs right there on the ocean floor. Everybody is scrambling to protect their piece of the pie.
And the ultimate risk in all of this? The thing that keeps people up at night? It's a splinternet. A future where the internet is no longer global, but is fractured into pieces along national and corporate lines, with digital walls separating different spheres of influence.
Which leaves us with a final, pretty sobering thought. You know, back in World War II, the key targets were always roads and bridges. The big question for our time is, when the next major conflict finally arrives, will the very first shots be fired not on land, but on that invisible, vital infrastructure resting at the bottom of the sea?